climate policy is intensely geopolitical. That implies that climate policy is going to have both elements of international cooperation and elements of international coercion. It is going to have fights over distribution of costs and pain, and it's going to have fights over control of the future of technology and the geopolitical future. Anybody who tells you that climate policy is merely about getting together to solve a global problem is, I think, trying to sell you something.
This is to underscore that the green transition in Europe will be a rather delicate one and will obviously impact on the foreign policy and partnerships with certain countries. I would just like to mention, already said, Russia, I referred to Russia, but for example, also with Norway or with Algeria.
This year, I think in many ways, will be a year focused on implementation and accelerating the finance, the deployment, and the innovation necessary to deliver on the ambition that was raised last year. Now with well over 50% of global GDP aligned in both long-term and medium-term targets with keeping the 1.5 degrees C goal within reach.
There is no choice but to recognize in the first instance that gas is a transition fuel, which simply, you simply cannot convert the European energy system to a climate carbon neutral system without using that transition fuel. It's simply impossible, and if you tried, basically every government in Europe would collapse.
What we need to do is just set a groundwork that's science-based, that unleashes the creative potential of technology, that enlists new tools we have like satellites as well, right, that help to measure emissions and help to better understand and characterize the emissions footprints of, even existing oil and gas operations that, as we've seen, uncovering, new methane plumes around pipelines around various parts of the world, and just use those in a framework that then is encouraging of every decarbonization tool we have to move as quickly as possible.